From the OU TV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics. Proudly combating the thought police since 2016, here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Today, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman testified in the House impeachment inquiry. He is a Ukraine expert assigned to the National Security Council. What does he have to say? Well, we don't know a lot about the specifics because this is still a closed-door portion of the impeachment inquiry, but we are able to gather a few things from the publicly released opening statement. He claims that President Trump was pushing for investigations of his political rivals, which corroborates other witnesses with his first-hand account of the alleged attempt at quid pro quo, dirt on Biden for military aid. Also, to boot, he was on the now infamous July 25th call between Trump and the Ukrainian President Zelensky. Vindman was listening from the Situation Room along with other NSC officials and members of Vice President Pence's staff. He said in his opening statement that he was concerned by the call. He felt that the president's request could be seen as a partisan play that could undermine national security. And because of his concerns, he then reported it to the NSC's lead counsel. Yet again, here we are. We have another witness who has come before the Congress and directly challenged Gordon Sondland's testimony. Gordon, of course, is the U.S. ambassador to the European Union. Could it be? Is it possible? Could it be that Sondland was lying under oath and committing perjury? Vindman also went to the NSC lead counsel with concerns about a July 10th meeting between Sondland, Volker, Rick Perry, John Bolton, and senior Ukrainian officials. During the meeting, Sondland demanded that Ukrainian leaders deliver specific investigations to secure a meeting between Zelensky and Trump. Vindman says, "I stated to Ambassador Sondland that his statements were inappropriate and that the request to investigate the Biden and his son had nothing to do with national security, and that such investigations were not something the NSC was going to get involved in or push." Bolton was reportedly furious by Sondland's demands of the Ukrainians during the July 10th meeting. The panels have thus far not subpoenaed Bolton for his testimony, but most people think that that day will come before the end of the year. Terrorist down! Terrorist down! Over the weekend, U.S. forces found Big Baddie Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State militant group, and now he's dead. Where was he? He was hiding in some forgotten border town, right? Or a remote patch of the desert. No. He was in Syria's Idlib province, a place where Baghdadi surely knew that he was surrounded by enemies and eyes. Yet nonetheless, that's where he was dwelling when his life of crimes against humanity came to an end. Syria's Idlib province is a major battlefield in Syria's civil war. It's dominated by an Islamist militant movement hostile to the Islamic State. Syrian and Russian warplanes are ever present carrying out bombing raids. It's a shit show out there. The violence and insecurity in Idlib show the hard road ahead for the group of regional powers cooperating in an effort to end Syria's conflict. Syria, Iran, Russia, and Turkey are nominally cooperating in an effort to end Syria's conflict. Not the U.S., though. No, we're gone. Well, not completely. We are there defending the oil, yet experts say that there's not really much oil left there. And what is there belongs to the Syrian government still. Most would be unsurprised if the American military would find war for oil appropriate. It may provide a rationale for maintaining a U.S. military presence in Syria, reversing the president's promise of a full withdrawal. Trump has argued for years that the U.S. should seize Middle Eastern oil fields to recoup some of the costs of its military operations in the region, an idea that experts say violates international law and would only fuel criticism of American intentions. It's the 50th anniversary of the internet. Happy anniversary, Internet! 50 years ago today, the Internet's first transmission was sent. The Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, also known as ARPANET, was the forerunner to the modern Internet. ARPANET was an experimental system that pioneered the then radical idea of networking different kinds of computers together. It was a pet project of the U.S. Defense Department's Advanced Research Project Agency. ARPANET initially connected 4 independent network nodes situated at UCLA, the Stanford Research Institute, the University of California, Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. The first ARPANET message sent using the prototype packet switching network was a failed attempt to simulate a basic login process. 2 characters, L and O, typed into a computer terminal at UCLA, were successfully transmitted to a computer at the Stanford Research Institute some 352 miles away before the connection was lost. Scientists had intended to type the word log through an interface message processor, but they only got as far as sending 2 characters before the system crashed, which is only slightly better than the rollout of Obamacare's website. The exercise was repeated successfully a few hours later. The October 29, 1969 communication was significant because it represented the first use of a wide area packet switched network, a pioneering communications technology that still underpins modern telecommunication networks. After the summer of love, the Internet was born. I don't know, maybe it was impregnated there. 4 years later, ARPANET went international with satellite links linking the University College of London in England and the Royal Radar Establishment in Norway to U.S. universities. Access to the ARPANET was further expanded in 1981 when the U.S. National Science Foundation created the Computer Science Network, which created the groundwork for the creation of the Internet as we know it. For better or worse, the Internet is a major part of human existence. Are we all turning into robots? It's really hard to know at this point where the Internet will be in 50 years.